All right, everybody, welcome to another of my sessions. Just as always, giving some time for people to join in, get set up, and get ready. And also to allow myself to drink something. Also, while we are waiting, there is a poll on Pathable that you can answer. So as there is chat on the top, there is more tabs, and you can switch to polls. First one is to add a question for a speaker, and the second one is a question I have for you. So take a moment to go there and check it out before we start. And before everybody else joins in, interested in hearing from you. Yeah, we'll give probably 1 more minute for people to join in, get themselves set up. A reminder again, for newcomers, there is a poll on Table. So as there is chat on the top, there are tabs. You can check. Polls is the second tab. First one is you can post question for me. The second one is a survey that I would like you to answer. And all right. Couple more seconds. Feel free to post in the chat at any time with questions, comments, or anything else. Or if you raise a hand, I can make you a speaker and we can discuss. I think there will be opportunity here for this. Very nice thing. We have enough time to do so. I still see people jumping in and out, so let's a few more seconds. All right, 10 more seconds and then we'll get started for sure. As a reminder, again, we have a poll for this talk. So chat, there's at the top, there's tabs for polls, files, and people. So under polls, there's first one is, if you have any question for me. Second one is question I have for you. And you can also always type into the chat as well. All right, let's get started. So welcome, everybody. This is a talk about Meteor Accounts 2.0 and what's coming beyond. So as always, first of all, introductions. If you don't know me, my name is Dvorak. I am part of the Meteor community packages, and I've been with Meteor since 2015. I'm also a freelancer, right now working with Meteor software. And you will probably notice that Literal Universe that I will be showcasing through the day. That is my personal projects, which I hope that maybe in the future is going to also be monetized. You can find me on social media either as Storyteller or Storyteller CZ. And then let's get into it. So what I'll be talking about is Accounts 2.0, because I'm the one responsible for this major bump. So if that goes your problems, I apologize. I will explain, what that is about, why did we decide to make this a major version bump, and how to fix your dependencies easily and get over this without any trouble. We'll then quickly talk about what is new since then, and then what is coming in Meteor 2.5, which is a big release for accounts. And then I'll look into my crystal ball, what's in the future for accounts. So now is the time to take a look on the survey, or the poll, which was the question if you have upgraded to accounts 2.0 and beyond, meaning if you went to Meteor 2.3. And we have 43 people saying yes, 57 people saying no. So that means that 43% of people are interested what's coming in the future, or why did I cause all this trouble? And I guess the rest of you, majority is looking why I did that and how to get around this. So accounts 2.0, the what and is that we have two breaking changes in accounts 2.0. First of all, we remove deprecated functionality, and we separated enroll and reset password workflows, primarily in the database. So those are the breaking changes. As you can probably guess from that, it affects ancient packages, and it can affect your application. And the second point, if you are kind of more tied into the account, the enroll and reset password workflows in any shape or form. There was one new feature or one new hook, set additional find user on external login. So if you log in with OAuth, that's a hook that will get triggered, and you can do some work in there. So why did we decide to go to accounts 2.0 instead of just a feature bump? And that's because of semantic versioning. Breaking change means that there should be a major version, which was not always the case in Meteor, but I'm trying to kind of keep to it as much as possible. And it was important kind of for me because of the nature of the changes. As I mentioned, the first change, removing deprecated functionality, would affect you if you have some ancient packages that have been using those, which hopefully you don't have anymore, especially if you're running modern Meteor versions. And the second one would affect your app if you are tied into those say APIs and hooks and stuff like that, with enrollment and with the password workflows. I am under no false impression that everybody, when there's a new release, goes and reads the change logs completely. At best, I think I would be happy if people read the blog post that kind of summarizes it in some way. But even then, a lot of people just quickly update and move on, and that could lead to many breakages and just pain. And so I want to kind of, to in a way break things people for you to kind of, make sure that people pay attention. And before that, I went through all kind of reported packages that we got on during the release candidate process in 2.3 and even before, to make sure that they, those packages that are at least still maintained will have the fix ready to go. So, and the fix is super simple. If you realize that it's not, breaking anything for you in your package, then you can either use the API versions from and add in the 2.3 version, or if you are referencing versions directly, then you can use API, use account base and add and the version we were at, and then this line and 2.0. And that will allow the package to choose whichever is recommended either at the top or through other packages that are more restrictive. Obviously, the problem occurs when you don't have, or the package that you can depend on is no longer maintained. That's where the compatibility packages initiatives comes from. We also took under our wing some new packages in Meteor community packages to release new versions with this compatibility. But it's also also a nice other reason to review your dependencies and maybe check if there isn't a more modern version of the package that you're using that's no longer maintained. And for the most part, this will affect long-running packages or applications from the early days. But other than that, it should be pretty much fine. That's good thing about this, it's not super crazy major change that requires everybody to rewrite code, but only people who use those APIs that were affected. So what is new since 2.0? We have expanded capabilities of email packages. So there is a now service, option, which kind of hooks into node mailer option for known services, where you can, if there is a known service that node mailer knows, you can just put in the name of the service and then your username password. So you don't have to put in the mail URL into your settings. And you can also set this through your Meteor settings. And also we added custom transport hook, which allows you to overwrite completely the email sending options. So you'll get the data, which is like to, from, text, HTML, all that stuff. And you can then just put it or work with it as you see fit. And then we updated a lot of dependencies to also be backward compatible as much as possible. For example, last you can either use version 3 or 4, which was also recently released, and with a lot of smaller code refactoring and fixes. But the big thing is coming in Meteor 2.5, which, as I said at the beginning, is the next major step in accounts. And that is the coming of accounts passwordless, which was requested for a while. And that's a package that allows the user to enter their email, and then it will, or email and username if you decide so, and then they will receive on their email a code. As you can see in the screenshot, they will enter that code, and through that they will be able to log in. Or there's also a link in the email that they can use, and that will log them in automatically. Another big thing is that it allows you to set, for example, accounts.config or accounts.ui.config and couple or services. You can all now set them in Meteor 2.5 through your Meteor settings, so you don't have to manually do that in the code. So also with Meteor accounts passwordless, if you have two-factor authentication enabled on Meteor Cloud, it's very similar to how that works. As you've seen from the screenshot, the accounts UI package is up to date with this change, so it will be already. And there will be another package released by Quave, which is Felipe's company, or say organization on GitHub, which will allow you sending these codes through SMS. So that will also be released around time of 2.5. So here are the three settings or config via settings, as I call them, where you should put them in your application. And just by putting them into these lines, so it will be in your settings file under packages, and then the name of the package, so accounts base, accounts UI installed, or service configuration. Just putting them there, it will put those settings in automatically. The only drawback is with the configuration for accounts base, if there is a parameter that you want to use a function with, that's obviously not going to work in a JSON file with your settings. So you will have to set that up somewhere on your server. So, what's next? Two-factor authentication is coming, following passwordless. Also, there is also plan to review email setup in accounts, the APIs, and how everything is connected to make sure that it makes sense and it works properly. There's also I also plan to do some more work on the email package for Node Mailer. And we have a lot of other improvements in discussion, specifically for Apple login, which is currently supported via community packages. I'm personally pushing for that to be as a core package. So if you agree, please go to GitHub discussion. I'm going to show you, and support my initiative there. And I will also be doing research into other login options like WebOut. There is a question if there's any plans to add Auth0 integration. And let me just quickly Google it so I am not mistaken. So as of right now, there are no plans that I know of about adding Auth0 because part of the problem is that it kind of is a service that all of the entire package of accounts kind of already does. So it kind of seems to be a bit redundant, but feel free to go into discussion and make an argument why that should be added. And speaking of say the discussions and everything, let me just, here we go. So if we go to the, for features, we have now there's a new discussion page right over here. And if you click on that one, you will see here all the feature discussion, announcements, or if you want to have like a specific package that you want to put into compact organization, here are all the features. So one of them is here accounts improvement suggestions. So here's the already mentioned two-factor authentication, and there are a couple of others like sign in with Apple and all that stuff. So please do go in, let us know what you want to add it, and either somebody from the community is going to do it, or it might land up on Meteor Software's timeline to implement. So that's one thing. And now let's again take a look on, for example, how to fix your packages. So we have one package. Now it doesn't use anything related to accounts, but that's still fine. I'm just going to quickly show you. So this is how you would pretty much allow for Accounts 2.0 to run through. Is there a specific package anybody wants me to take a look at? And that's maybe giving you problems, and I can show you exactly how to fix it. Because as I said, most of the packages don't use the affected APIs, so as that, or feel free to ask any question related to accounts. And while at it, quite a danger. So let's see if, yes, let's create a new. Actually, I'll show you a pull request for the last part here for the accounts config via settings. So just quickly, to get you an idea how it works. This is for the UI. So once the settings are set for, actually, no, I have a, just realized I do have a nice app where I can show you this. Working or not. Let's get rid of these. Let's record it, so, but doesn't matter. I'll rotate those tokens soon. So here we have for the yet unmerged config via settings. So under public, I put packages, I put the package name, in this case accounts are installed, and I put the passwordless sign up field should be username and email. And just to show you, I don't have that set up anywhere else. And now if I go over here and I'm going to run it from checkout because I have that branch checked out. So once that gets started, should be soon. Oops, something I missed. And yeah, that's because I removed the other tokens. So let me return them, which is going to make this work. And so you can see that I have your create account with the email and username. And if I go back into the settings and remove that, as I'm going to do off screen right now, you can see that it has changed and it's just only email for the account's passwordless here. So if we return that, we have the email there back in. So this is a drive from me to make sure that you don't have to constantly repeat code with configs, with settings, or anything else like that. And you can just put it in your Meteor settings and have it be implemented into the package without anything else to write. So that's that showcase. And once again, I would like to encourage you if you have any questions, or let me check here. If you have an application or package that's giving you trouble, or you just want to see how I will fix them with for Meteor Accounts 2.0, you can raise hands in Zoom. I'll give you a speaker share and we can take a look. Don't be shy, I don't bite. No questions from Adrian. All right, again, feel free to ask me a question now. Now is also the time I can go into your app and look for if you have any problems in regards to this. And if not, please let me know, if you're going to try to, for those who have not updated yet, if you're going to try to update, or write in the chat, what package is stopping you from upgrading, because I can then take a look. Okay, Michael Collins has raised his hand, so let's allow him to talk, and in a moment he should join us and we can take a look.
Hi, Jan.
Hey, how are you doing, Michael? So what's it? How can I help? Yeah, can you hear fine? So
hello.
We can hear you fine. And if you are not hearing me, that means
hello.
Can hear you fine. You have to probably, if you do that.
Hey, Jan, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. So I should be since I'm hearing you, should be able to hear me. So
my question is
wait. I can now hear you, but only super distantly. So check your mic.
Better now?
Yes, that's better. Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, perfect. Okay. So my question is primarily related to I know this is related to the core Meteor and things like that, but I was curious, how are you seeing in the environment related to like kind of front end frameworks and what Meteor is kind of supporting the most?
So Meteor right now is obviously supporting still Blaze. That's not going to change. And kind of the second most used front-end framework, as I'm going to show tomorrow in review of the community survey, is React. So those two will remain kind of like the main focus. We have actually new React hooks coming up, hopefully in a couple of few days. At the end of the day today, there is a presentation about them, so check them out. So those two will be closely supported, but like everything in Meteor, you will be able to access the Meteor Accounts functions and other functions just in pure JavaScript. So shouldn't be any problem with integrating anywhere else.
Okay. And could you just repeat just really quickly, which two did you say would be supported the most? I didn't catch that.
Okay, so which two will be supported most? obviously, again, this is my opinion. Meteor software is trying to support them as much as possible, all of them. I know there is some work. Let me double check that so I don't make a silly mistake. Discussions. Yeah, also Vue 3 support is coming up, and that's actually from the work has already started. Let me switch the view here. This is actually the announcements acronym. So it's actually from the guys who work or who created Vue, so they are working on the support there. And the same thing goes for everything else, or the other front-end packages. A lot of the time, it's say the progressing it forward, improving is on the community, but kind of the basic integration, from what I've gathered talking with Felipe and everybody else, whenever anybody needs help with anything like this, then Meteor software is going to help as much as they can. But Blaze is obviously going to maintain where it is. So if there's, for example, like with accounts passwordless, there is a new thing, then the accounts UI package is going to get the upgrade, so it works with the new accounts system that's being implemented. With React, there's the React Meteor data, so or the React packages. So we go here, and right now we have 3 pull requests regarding 2 new packages and expanding of 2 new hooks. So there's work for them, mostly from community, but whenever there is something that needs to be addressed or that changes in Meteor itself, then obviously, Meteor software is going to go in and fix that so it works, and that applies for all the other officially recognized say integrations. But again, when it comes to priorities, it's going to be most likely and again, this is my opinion, it might differ depending on what's the need and what's the specific situation, but it would be probably React, Blaze, Vue, maybe Vue before Blaze, because Blaze is so well integrated that there rarely is any issue with anything, and then everything else.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. I didn't know, I appreciate that. I just didn't know how that integration was working, because it's constantly changing these front end frameworks. So I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to hear. I heard you fine, so you're welcome. Just for everybody else, for a technical, check if Zoom has by default, or it has actually checked it, force it on me again with the new version, automatically adjust your microphone volume, and it has a bad tendency to just really put it down, and you need to kind of speak for like a minute yelling into the microphone before it automatically puts it up. So it's better to kind of turn it off. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. As I said, Meteor at this point is more front-end agnostic, and it really depends just on the integration in regards to the specific front end, what's available there, and so on. So anybody else wants to try speak, or ask me a question like that, anything like that, feel free to again raise your hands in Zoom or write in a chat, then anything you can look at your packages, your app. That's gonna be a problem. It's gonna analyze where the dependencies are coming from. So I'll give 3 more minutes if anybody shows up with interest or anything else regarding accounts packages. While people might be typing or deciding, I'll also note that I did a talk at a meetup a couple of months ago when 2.0 for accounts came out. And there I specifically showed how to solve some of the problems on live packages. And Michael is back for more.
Yeah.
Can you try to increase the volume on your microphone? It's still very low.
Sure. Let me see.
Might be something with
I don't know
Zoom.
if it's gonna. Yeah, maybe because I'm like on my mobile right now.
Okay.
I'll just
Well,
say
I can hear you. It's
loud.
very faint, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. So related to the account's password, I noticed 2 elements you mentioned. One was password lists, and then I saw that you're using Quave instead of like. Why did you pick? What was the thought around picking Quave versus like a Twilio or something like that?
Oh, so let me answer. So the question is about, there was a Quave. It's not exactly think, or it's Quave. And it's this, if I remember correctly, it's this one, and that's one of the organizations that Felipe has for his works with his friends, and it's also a company in Brazil. And why I mentioned them is they're just like have some additional packages that they sometimes do that they don't want to be official because they might not support them as much as official, or it's just primarily for their projects. So yeah, here we go. Here is they have quite a few kind of around the passwordless as well. So one of them that they have here is like a React form for passwordless. And in this case, it was also used to demonstrate how easy it is to make a package and how easy it is to link it to the existing package ecosystem or into the core, and how to utilize different options available. So they have also accounts Apple and other things experimental.
Okay, and passwordless is that basically you send an email or send a text message? Is that to confirm and then you hold a session or something like that so that the user doesn't have to log in all the time, or what's that? How does that flow look for Meteor?
So yeah, I'll go back to the presentation in regards to passwordless. So as I showed on this screenshot, what's going to happen, or I can also, I still have it up. 3000. Okay, here we go. So what they are going to do is sign here. Let me see. I have this for experimentation. So they are going to get login code. Right now I have some experimentation going on here, so it's not working properly. But they are going to click the get login code or whatever you put in your UI. Then they are going to get an email with a code, similarly as you get today if you have two-factor authentication on Meteor Cloud. And from that, then they are going to go to a form that's going to look, or this is actually what it's what's going to appear then, this code input, and they can either copy the code from the email into that and submit, which is going to log them in, or in the email, there is also going to be a link. And if they click on the link, that's going to log them in as well. So.
Okay, got it, thanks. And just to be sure on for the Quave integration, that's just going to be built into it like a, so we won't be able to use like, unless, can you expand upon that Quave kind of integration?
Yeah, so the Quave package that they are building is, or they plan to release, you can, let's see, there is going to be, oops, that's the wrong one. So if we go to the agenda, there is going to be a recap of the talk that they have done when they built it, which is the first one, the first replay, creating a Meteor package with Philippe and Renan. And in there, they actually built the package, which uses passwordless, but instead of sending you the code via email, it sends it to you via the SMS text or text message.
Okay, got it.
So, and this is Twilio, and it's just like an examples, and they build a package and they are going to release it together with Meteor 2.5. So if people want to integrate it, but that requires also that you have telephone numbers for the users.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
And again, it's, you can build it into your app pretty much already. You can use the hooks in the passwordless package. And if you can, for example, the user has set up their telephone number there, you can just, instead of sending them email, you can send them a text message. It's all up to you. And again, it's the beauty of the account system that there's so many hooks that you can, go in, change whatever you need, and make it work to your specification.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And anybody else wants to ask a question? I see Milan is asking, how would I achieve a user to be able to log in just from one tab and no multiple tabs allowed? Ooh, that's a difficult one. On top of my head, I don't know. You would have to most likely change a little bit how the internals works, at least on the or on the client side. Just from one tab. That's a challenging. I honestly don't know. My guess is that you would have to probably store or extend the token login or the token that's on the client, and then somehow in there add identification for the specific tab. And if it's not on the specific tab, then it would just ignore the user or not sign him in. It's definitely possible. That's kind of the approach I would probably take. There are probably others as well, but right now that's not what is designed for. But probably through some hooks and changing how the client handles or recognizes logged in users. Okay, see Renan answering some question. Renan, I'll allow you to speak so you can answer the question in regards to Quave packages. Hey, Renan. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Just talking about quality package since in the chat. I think the question is they are not strictly related to Meteor organization, Meteor software, or even the core package, but they are organization that me and Felipe are part of. So we do maintain a lot of production ready mobile apps and apps using Meteor for a long time, even before I'm here at Meteor Software. So we have created a lot of package that makes our life easier. Like you can see Apple OAuth, that's something I did because we needed to push an app to the Apple Store and we weren't there weren't any packages using Cordova handler. So we created it and we do maintain it because our app is in the App Store right now. So we have to leave it updated and working. There's also a lot of features implemented in there because we needed white label and stuff. So they're not official like in the core, but you know they are being used by an organization that has production uh, apps. So you're probably safe using our package because we are too. And we are answering tickets and pull requests. So feel free to use it. I can't hear you. No, yeah. Not sure if it's just me.
I just muted myself and forgot about that. uh, I just kind of wanted to add that sometimes some of the ideas from those color packages make it into the core as well, and that's how it is in general with a lot of other community packages as well. You have an idea, you make a package, it gets tested, people like it, and eventually people agree that it should be in the core, or it fits really nicely into that. So that's also
Yeah,
how some
exactly.
of
I
the
think that
features.
there's a great line there because we try to maintain the core as lean as possible, but also being as feature complete as possible. So sometimes we try to leave features as package, and then sometimes we integrate in the core, like the passwordless. It could be a package not in the core, but we saw that there's a lot of usage for passwordless in new apps, and there's kind of a trend in there. So we decided to take it to the core.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there are packages that might be fit to the core or not. So there's a discussion about that.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
there is
a
an ongoing discussion about which package it should be in the core and which not. Uh, First, we have probably noticed in the discussion that there is a conflict between me and Felipe in regards if the Apple login should be in the core or not. So feel free to weigh in, either for or against. That's up to you to decide.
Yeah, exactly. Also for the accounts, I think the discussions on GitHub are a perfect way to suggest new features. You can create new discussions, also waiting in the existing ones. It's great to have community feedback in there.
Just show it again on the Meteor repository, discussions, and feature requests if you want to be more specific. It's actually kind of here at the top, accounts improvement suggestions, and sometimes we also kind of split into more specific, like here two-factor authentication for accounts. So usually we start here in the accounts improvement suggestions, and once an idea is more or less agreed on or starts kind of crystallizing, then you can open a specific thread for that. And we have already a couple of things done. Right. Anybody else wants to ask any questions? Now is your last chance. Or feel free to raise a hand. Michael, I see, has raised his hands again. So, Michael, if you want to speak, go ahead.
Okay, appreciate it. Just one last thing. I'm on my mobile, so I don't see all of the links. Are these links in the the URL for this meeting, like these feature request type links and things like that?
Okay, that's a great question. Where will be all the links? I will add them to the description of this talk, so it's available for everybody later. Or you can, all talks are being recorded, so you'll be able to go back and check them out. But I will definitely add them into the links for this talk, so it's easier to quickly navigate to them. All right, I'll give everybody 10 more seconds to either raise your hands or quickly write a question in the chat somewhere, or any of them chat. Let me also check the results for the poll if there are any questions. All right, I don't see anything, so give you a couple more seconds and then we'll be done. Any final thoughts, Renan? No? Okay, so one last check on okay. I don't see anything. Raise your hand if you are typing or something so that I know that I should wait for you. Okay, going once, twice. And with that, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your questions. This is it for me, and I will have more talks later on. And I hope to see you all on the next sessions and in the hangout that we'll have also later on. So once again, thank you very much for your attention, for your question, and see you later.